Deep in the heart of Friars Forest, under the shade of an old maple tree, grew something rare, something precious, something the animals had waited nearly 10 years to harvest. It was the wild American ginseng root. It was not magic. It was medicine, real medicine for the weak, the weary, the elderly, and the sick. Wise Owl had promised the forest that when the root finally matured, it would be used to help the creatures who needed it most. The day of harvest was almost here, but someone else had plans for that root. Someone with darker intentions. Kane the Crow. High above Friars Forest, Kane lived alone in the rafters of an abandoned hunter's shack, a place filled with rusted traps, cracked jars, and scattered human junk. Kane collected shiny things, and he always wanted more. He remembered a day when a human ginseng poacher passed through the forest. The man had said, "Bring me a mature wild ginseng root, and I'll pay you $800 a pound." $800. Enough to make Kane feel like a king. But Kane had a problem. Crows cannot dig. So he flew down to find Zip. Kane told Zip that if Zip helped him dig up the ginseng root, Kane would give him $200. Zip hesitated at first. He knew the root was meant for the sick. But Kane whispered that no one would ever know if they blamed Samuel instead. A thread from Samuel's shirt, a few fake footprints, and the forest would believe the lie. Zip's fear slowly turned into greed. And with that, the heist began. Late that night, under dim moonlight, Kane and Zip crept to the ginseng patch. Together, they dug up the precious root, wrapped it in cloth, and hid it near Kane's roost. Kane smirked to himself, certain that by morning, Samuel would take the blame. When morning broke, panic spread through the forest. The ginseng patch had been torn apart. Footprints covered the dirt, and a thread from Samuel's shirt hung from a broken branch. Forest creatures whispered, "Why would Samuel do this? That root was for the sick. Does Samuel need money?" Before anyone could gather their thoughts, Kane stepped forward and boldly claimed that he saw Samuel near the patch the night before. Kane suggested that Samuel wanted the root for money. Zip added to the lie, saying that Samuel talked about how valuable the root was. Gasps filled the clearing, and the council called for a trial. Samuel stood before the forest, frightened and confused. Not because he had stolen anything, but because he had a secret. Samuel was not a strong climber. Most squirrels could race up trees with ease, but Samuel struggled. For weeks, he had been secretly training at dawn with Chad, the muscle-bound personal trainer Squirrel, who wore a sweaty headband and said things like, "Feel the burn, brother." Samuel told Chad not to tell anyone. He didn't want to look weak. Now that secret made him look guilty. Before Samuel could take the stand, Wise Owl landed beside him. Wise Owl gently asked Samuel what troubled his heart. Samuel admitted the truth. He said he was embarrassed because he wasn't a good climber and that he had been secretly training with Chad at dawn. He didn't want the other squirrels laughing at him. Wise Owl nodded and told him that pride hides the truth and gives strength to lies. Then Wise Owl quoted the scriptures, saying, Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 18, "Pride goeth before destruction, and an haughty spirit before a fall." And also, Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 9, "A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall perish." Samuel knew what he had to do. Samuel stepped before the crowd and told the embarrassing truth. He explained that he was not a strong climber and that he had been training with Chad in secret. The animals murmured. A few even laughed kindly. But the truth had been spoken. Had then stepped forward and confirmed Samuel's alibi. He said Samuel had been with him the entire morning, working on climbing strength and tail stabilization drills. This shocked the crowd. The accusation against Samuel was falling apart. Wise Owl then turned to Kane with sharp, piercing eyes. He reminded Kane of the scripture again, saying, Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 9, "A false witness shall not be unpunished, and he that speaketh lies shall perish." Under the weight of truth, Kane cracked. He shouted, admitting that he and Zip had stolen the ginseng root. Gasps rippled through the clearing. Realizing what he had done, Kane spread his wings and flew away, shouting that he would return. Zip, however, could not fly. Zip was captured and brought before the council. He was sentenced to hard labor in the cedar grove cleaning dens, raking forest trails, sweeping burrows, and yes, cleaning poop. Justice was served. The forest recovered the ginseng root from Kane's hiding place. It was bruised, but still usable. The forest healers sliced the root, dried it, and ground it into a fine powder. They brewed it into medicine for the elderly, the widows, and the sick. Wise Owl addressed the forest and said, "Let this day remind us all, pride brings us low, but truth brings healing. And false witness is a wickedness the Lord will not ignore." From that day on, Samuel trained in the open, not because he was perfect, but because he had learned that honesty is stronger than pride and truth is stronger than lies. Friars Forest was safe once again. Though far beyond the treetops, Kane the Crow still plotted his revenge. The end. Thank you for joining us in Friars Forest today. Samuel learned that honesty is stronger than pride, and that even when lies surround us, truth will always rise to the top. If you enjoyed this original Wisdom Kidz story, be sure to like the video, subscribe, and join us again for more adventures filled with wisdom.